show tonight. What were the 60s really like? Well, we have a few people, like 15 readers, that are going to answer that question for you from different angles. If you weren't here if this is the first time you're here, this is our second installment. Just the inspiration for the show was the day that I heard the news that Bob Dylan would be awarded the 2016 Nobel Prize. Exactly. And my very first thought was, and that was my half birthday, by the way, October 13th. And my first thought was, that's an award to a culture that no longer exists, except in us. So my idea is that we're here to preserve and pass on. We are the caretakers of the culture, of American culture, which somehow has disappeared. This today is Malcolm X's birthday. Now, I'm a white person, and when I was 15, I didn't know nothing about Malcolm X, and Malcolm X wasn't speaking to me, okay? But we can apply what Malcolm X was teaching to us today as artists. I think we've got resident guru Sparrow. We've got Janet Capron's going to be in the open. We have Eve Packer. I'm mentioning a few people that are going to possibly know more about Malcolm X than I do. But I just think he sounds the gong. And we are here to adapt or apply that model of action, wisdom in action, teacher of wisdom in action, beautifully expressed by Sparrow. I want to thank our host, rather the person who owns this place, Robin Hirsch, because he has been incredibly welcoming to me personally in terms of he's been receptive to my ideas, and I am so grateful for that, and also for Josh Rebel, who does a lot of the legwork in terms of getting our website up. And they had the foresight to sort of cast us on Inauguration Day, and we got press. And now we're back again on Malcolm X's birthday, and they are both accidents, which there are no such things as accidents. If you listen to Sora Litsky, who will be reading tonight, I want to also mention Rivka Kreider is here with a book that just came out about being a child of the 60s. So we have a phenomenal group. We have people coming back like Davidson Garrett and Mariah Perez. Sue will be regaling us with a song. I can't mention everybody by name, Madeline Artenberg, but these are wonderful presenters, and some of them come from a performance world, and others are from spoken word. This is a confession. I know this is scary. This is my 50th high school reunion. 50th.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like I'm here against all odds. So no, I'm beyond the pale. So I want to read something to do with an old classmate, old so to speak, and with a little help from my friends, if that's okay. And I'm going to start out with this memoir. I want to thank you in advance for coming, and also remember that Cornelia Street needs your support. The cafe needs your support. Just by being here, you're doing that. So it's wonderful. Can you hear me? I have to raise the mic. Okay. I'm going to start with a little memoir about 1967. Remember 1967, anyone? Yeah. You're admitting it. That was the year that was the age of the troubadour, Bob Dylan, the British invasion, and here on the home front, the Vietnam War. I confess, I didn't march in the protest. I stood on the sidelines carrying Daddy Ken's 8mm camera and recorded the anti-war demonstration live on film. This was my way of saying I was there then. Where am I? I'm on the 5th Avenue bus heading downtown to the Village to meet Nancy Muller, the richest girl at Chapin. Both her parents were killed in a freak car accident in 10th grade. Poor Nancy Muller. My mother said, "You're lucky you're not Nancy Muller." Nancy Muller says, "I'm lucky my mother's dead. She'd kill me if she saw me in a miniskirt." Lucky Nancy Muller
Whatever happened to Nancy Muller?
Good question. Fast forward 25 years. I'm trudging home from my lowly teaching job as an adjunct instructor of English to business students at Baruch Night School when...
Kathryn Adisman!
Oh, help! It's the Chapin class secretary. Too late.
I found you! You're on the disappeared list. Nancy Muller.
Whatever happened to Nancy Muller?
Where have you been? Nancy Muller killed herself back in the 70s.
How did she do it? Just curious.
Same way Marilyn did it.
That's funny. I still have a portrait of Nancy Muller smiling forever in the Chapin School Yearbook, circa 1967. She reminds me of Patty Playpal if a doll could speak.
All our dreams, Kathy, will they ever materialize, or will they always be dreams? Life moves on so swiftly, and too soon everything becomes only a memory. I am not going to end this here. I hate endings. I know our friendship will never end. This is only a postscript. Love, Nancy.
Hey Nancy, can you hear me? P.S. This song's for you. When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go
Downtown.
I see us now, Nancy Muller and me, two poor little rich girls, orphans of the Upper East Side, slumming, breathless with excitement, off on an adventure to St. Mark's Place.
St. Mark's Place!
That, looking back, seems harmless, even dull. But then, oh then, it was an awfully big adventure. And we knew, both of us in our hearts knew, this was only the beginning. So here we are, downtown.
Hi everybody, I'm Sue Polo. Yay!
Left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. But I never lost 1 minute of sleeping, worrying about the way things might have been. Big wheel keep on turning, proud Mary keep on burning. Rolling, rolling, rolling on a river. Rolling, rolling, rolling on a river. Cleaned a lot of plates in Memphis, pushed a lot of pain in New Orleans, but I never saw the good side of the city till I took a ride on the riverboat Queen. Big wheel keep on turning, proud Mary keep on burning. Oh, rolling, rolling, rolling on a river. Yeah, rolling, rolling, rolling on a river. If you come down to the river, bet you're gonna find some people who live. You don't have to worry if you got no money. People on the river are happy to give us a rolling, rolling, rolling on a river. Rolling, rolling, rolling on a river. Thank you.
A Long Hot Day in Mississippi, July 18th, 1964. Special to the Boston Globe by Michael C. Lydon. Greenwood, Mississippi. They began to line up for Freedom Day in front of the imposing sandstone LaFleur County Courthouse about 9 a.m., and by 9:30 most had arrived, driven in by student volunteers from the cotton plantations, tenant farms, and small towns scattered across the Delta. Careful not to block the sidewalks, for which crime they might have been arrested, they stood silent and patient. They were old people. The younger men and women were out in the fields chopping and weeding cotton, earning $2.50 for a 10-hour day. Many leaned on canes, their bodies bent with years of cotton picking. One woman had a brightly colored sailor hat with the words "Slap Happy" on the turned-down brim. The women wore faded house dresses, the men their Sunday best, worn suits, yellowing shirts, and ancient ties. 5 sheriff deputies stood on the steps keeping watch. An older deputy recognized many by their first names and gave them big, phony hellos. A younger one angrily warned them not to block the entrance and ordered the few who sat on the steps to get up. One by one, they filed into the courthouse through the heavy steel doors to the registrar's office. There, the circuit clerk gave them the forms, which asked them to copy a section of the state constitution to interpret. Some put an X for their signature. When they finished, the clerk took back the forms and they left. Their names would be published twice in the newspaper in the next few weeks. Then they would have to return to find out if they passed. Most knew that failure was a certainty. Many had been through the same routine 3 or 4 times before. 500 Negroes in the county are registered out of 30,000 adults. The office closed at 11:30 for lunch to open again at 1. The people waited. A volunteer brought some sandwiches and a big tin thermos of ice water. 40 police and about 100 white townspeople watched silently from the other side of the street. A policeman walked along the line taking pictures. None of the Negroes looked away or hid their faces. In the blazing sun, many women opened umbrellas, 4 or 5 gathering under each for the shade. About 3 o'clock, a storm that had been building all afternoon broke, and the rain beat down on the square. Some of the old people started to move to the porch under the courthouse columns. The deputies ordered them away. They continued to stand in the rain. This last was too much for 60-year-old C.L. Jordan, a Negro who said he had been registered for 20 years. Watching from across the street under a pecan tree, he spoke bitterly against the whites. "It's all right when it's 5 or 6 voting," he said, "but when it comes to 100, they fall to raising hell. It's always open season for snakes and colored folks around here. We're making mighty little progress, mighty little." One old woman in a torn red plaid dress commented sadly, "When you go down to register for the draft here, they don't do none of this. When you stand on the frozen ground in the unemployment agency all winter, they leave you alone. When you come to pay your taxes, they welcome you in." At 4:30, the office closed for the day. Still about 20 of the Negroes had not been able to get into the office. They walked to the volunteers' cars and were driven home.
Thank you, Kathryn, and everyone. February 10th, 1965. Dear Pop, speaking of U.S. critics, tomorrow I'm going to hear Malcolm X, and on Monday, B. Russell, all at the LSE. They have tons of clubs which arrange all these things. I remember the hand-lettered hallway oak tag sign. Malcolm X, sponsored by the African Student Union, will be speaking Thursday. I remember thinking, this was the U.S., that sign would be a huge, professionally printed poster, and I'm sure no one will show up. Thursday, February 11th, late afternoon, about to enter the auditorium, I see the tallest, thinnest man, long brown trench coat, briefcase, glasses, reddish skin, pacing. I remember thinking, he looks like a Giacometti in motion. The auditorium, packed! Students from all over the world, girls in saris, Africans, U.S. students, kids from Northern England, Liverpool, Leeds, on the floor near the front. I managed to find a seat in the back. And then Malcolm X begins. Conversational. He starts by telling us how he's just flown in from Mecca, and he now believes that there are good people of all colors, nothing to do with race. He warms us up by telling a joke. He's on the plane, chatting with the woman next to him. They exchange names. He says his is Malcolm. She asks his last name. He says X. She says Malcolm X. Malcolm X! Then he talks political. He talks about the Jews. Palestine, Israel, Hitler. Softly throws out, he won, didn't he? And the kids in front aim a barrage of verbal darts. Clearly he is not used to the practiced British sport of heckling. Even in the back row, I can see him blush. Then he goes into his rap. Don't remember the beginning, but 10 or 15 minutes in, building rhythm, power, momentum. This from memory, not Google, internet, nothing. They made us hate our eyes. They made us hate our mouths. They made us hate our noses. They made us hate our skin. In that precise moment, I can see my own head spin, turn, pivot. At that instant, he flips the switch, realigns brown lens over blue forever, our future eyes. He has us, a molten, melted mass in the palm of his hand. Thunderous applause. February 22nd, Monday morning, the LSE Common Room, writing about the speech on an unprecedented second air letter to my mom. The red-headed Maine heckler kid bursts through the door, tears pouring down his face. Malcolm X has been killed. Malcolm X has been killed. LSE, the first place from abroad to send the family flowers. Thank you.